My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
I'm Sky.
And today we're having a very special inaugural music episode.
Yay!
Our first foray into the world of specifically talking about K-pop. Of course, we have ventured in before because we ramble, but today we're specifically buckling down and talking about what some might consider one of the true kings of the K-pop world, one of our favorite groups and probably some of your favorite group, Big Bang.
So to start out, we wanted to just give a little bit of our history with K-pop, how we found K-pop, what we're into. I've been listening to K-pop for a little over 2 years now. I was into dramas first, and I was watching Cinderella and the Four Knights. And Lee Junction from CN Blue was in it, and he plays a singer. And he's singing, and I don't know, like I'm probably halfway through the series, and he's singing, and I'm like, oh, he can actually sing. And then I was like, I'm going to look him up. Oh, he's in a band. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should look up his band. And so then I looked up CN Blue, and I love them. And then from there, it was like, I think I was looking up CN Blue, like, videos. And at the same time, I was also I kind of had simultaneous revelations. Oh, maybe he's actually a singer. And also, oh, maybe the songs that I really like that I'm hearing in this drama are songs that I could like buy and like download and, just like I do with every other soundtrack. And lo and behold, they were. So then I think my first K-pop that I paid money for were some of the OSTs off of Cinderella and Four Knights. Yeah, and then I wound up finding like reaction videos, and I started watching Jerry KML or whatever. And I just realized, like, just one night, just sat in probably like 3 hours of just watching whatever YouTube put up next basically from his channel. I found ACMU, and I found Big Bang, and I found a bunch of other random stuff, but mostly what I gravitated to in the beginning was Big Bang, CN Blue, and ACMU. They were sort of my mainstays for the first little while, for sure. And now, over the last couple of years, I've kind of not graduated, but changed direction a little bit. It's been a little difficult this past year when both of your all three of your main bias groups are all in the army. Big Bang's in the army. CN Blue went in the army last year.
Rough year.
Yeah. ACMU in the army. So, like, nobody that I love is producing anything. So I have to find something new to listen to. And what I've mainly been listening to over the last year has been PH1. He's with AOMG. And Planetarium Records. I've gotten much more into the sort of Korean rap and hip hop kind of. Still sort of lighter end of things, but that's more the direction that I've taken, which kind of makes sense given that like all my biases from every group basically are rappers. So it makes sense that maybe I would shift into the rap music a little more.
So I was an anime kid in high school, and I got into this one series called Inuyasha, and on the OST of Inuyasha was a singer who I was really liking, and her name was Boa. And so I kind of found through searching, because she's singing in Japanese in the soundtrack, I found that she was a Korean singer, and so I was kind of introduced to K-pop that way. But what really kind of solidified like my start of getting into K-pop was the one summer me and my best friend decided that we wanted to spend all of our money at an arcade on this dance game called Pump It Up, which if you don't know Pump It Up, you've probably seen it a million times in music videos, but it's the Korean version of DDR. So we literally spent the entire summer playing that game. And so it was like basically you were listening to like Finkel and HOT and DJ Doc and all those like old school stuff. So I got introduced that way. and then I kind of trailed off for a bit. And then I got back into college. I got really into YouTube, and then just searching around for things, and I kind of stumbled across more K-pop. I got like kind of obsessed with Double S 501 for a while. They're like my Korean Backstreet Boys. I don't know why I'm like super into them, but I am. And so I kind of got into that during college, and like after college. I didn't really have a lot of money, so I wasn't buying songs and wasn't really listening to anything. But these past couple of years, I kind of got back into listening to K-pop. So I get like really back into like Super Junior and Big Bang, of course, and 2PM. I also really like the girl group EXID. So yeah, that's kind of basically my K-pop journey.
For me, I too was a disaffected anime youth in my younger days. But I think it was really so I had a lot of like, okay, so a fun little tidbit. I was part of this D&D group in high school because I was a huge nerd, and I was also the only girl who was a part of this group. So I inadvertently, I don't know if you know this about some nerdy dudes, but if you show them any kindness at all, they immediately think she wants me. So anyway, I was kind of had a few less scruples than I do today. So they would burn. I had like crappy dial-up internet because I lived in the middle of nowhere, and they had like not great internet because this was like 2002, but whatever. And so they would burn me anime and J-pop CDs to listen to. I have listened to the song "Simple and Clean."
Oh my god, favorite song.
Only when I got to college and like had fast internet and streaming music became a thing that I sort of, through Japanese anime AMVs, sort of stumbled into Super Junior, which then led to just everything. And now I listen to too much. And so long story short, nerdy dudes burnt me CDs, yada yada, K-pop. Today, I am a huge EXO fan and Monsta X. Those are my like two mains. And also these days I'm really into Jessie, the rapper. I find her to be a delight. She's just so real, guys. She's so real. And what else am I into these days? I listen to everything. I just put it on shuffle on Spotify and like whatever comes out. But I really this week I really like the song Between the Lips by IU, and Thirsty by Taemin is my theme song, as we all know. That's how I got into K-pop.
So I got into K-pop by way of K-dramas. I've always liked looking up soundtracks, even to Western movies and stuff. Like I thought the National Treasure soundtrack was cool to study to, stuff like that. So pretty much right when I got into K-dramas, I assumed that I could probably track down a lot of the soundtrack stuff. So I did. And then I don't think that there was actually a soundtrack song that led me into K-pop necessarily, but I just started getting curious about the culture. And I heard tons about K-pop even just through the dramas or just articles. So I thought, well, let me go see what the big deal is. And that probably was late February this past year. I kind of just tried to hit the really popular stuff just to see what it was about. And then I don't know how I found Astro. I just kind of ran across one of their early cute music videos, and that was that. So they are my main fandom, or whatever you want to say. But since I had already done enough research, I knew I liked some of the Super Junior songs. I knew that I liked some of the TVXQ. So even after I was into Astro, I would always backtrack and go recheck on who I kind of already knew or what was new. I kept on looking at the iTunes charts to see what was coming out. And so that kind of helped me get more acquainted with lots of different groups. And then I knew that Astro, they were big BTS fans. So I gave BTS a chance. And that helps me at least expand my genres a little bit, because I'm definitely not naturally a rap person. But between Astro having some rap in some of their songs, and then BTS definitely has some of that. So it kind of taught me how some K-pop has rap in it, but doesn't have to be a rap song. So I kind of just kept experimenting after that. I just love music in general. So these days, still Astro is probably my top, but I'm pretty much all over the board. EXO, I'm way more into them. I don't know why I was slow going with getting into them. I just was. But yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere. And Big Bang was definitely in that early mix too. I think they were some of the first K-pop I bought, along with Super Junior and a little bit of TVXQ. Just because Fantastic Baby and Bang 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 is absolutely everywhere. I mean, you can't escape it. I definitely remember when I saw the music videos for the first time, I thought it was really weird. But catchy, but super weird.
So who would, like, Jesse, who would you say your, like, main fandom is?
Oh, I don't know. Because SS501 doesn't really do anything anymore. They do have a subgroup that they've kind of continued on, but that kind of went away for the past 2 years because one of the members went into the military, but he's out now. So SS301, I really like. But I probably honestly right now, also because 2PM is mostly in the military or going into the military, probably EXID is like the one group that I kind of like continuously on, and Super Junior too, because they come out with anything. So they're pretty consistent. Super Junior is just like always there, like one way or another. Solo or D&E is there. I feel like you can't ever really miss Super Junior. They're just always there. But like
it's true.
But EXID is the group that I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly when their song is gonna come out, and I'm gonna listen to it immediately.
I think for me it would be Boys, like the CN Blue fandom. Like I used to sort of say, oh, I'm VIP or I'm Army, or like I'm Army and VIP and Boys. But I think over the time, like especially over this time with, you know, different people in the military and stuff, what I've really found, if anybody asks, that's the one that I identified with the most. That's the one that I only have mutuals who are other CN Blue fans. Like as far as that goes, like I don't follow a bunch of, you know, Army accounts or VIP accounts, but I follow a few voice accounts, and so they're the ones that I always know. When if I haven't been on Instagram in a while, I know that they've updated because all of a sudden I'm getting all these retweets and stuff on my Twitter, and they're adorable. Like they're all sweet. Like all the boys I've come in contact with are just all adorable. They are kind and friendly, and you know, so it's easy to identify yourself with a fandom that you enjoy the company of. And I enjoy their company. Not that I hang out with them a lot, but there's a few that I, you know, chat with here and there.
Definitely EXO and Monsta X are my two. I think anyone who follows my Twitter.
Really?
What? No! Pretend to be shocked. Yeah.
Shush all of you. No, EXO, the fandom is not always amazing. I can admit this as a member of the fandom. But, like, you know, the boys are so cute that you stick with it. For Monsta X, not only is the entire band just the sweetest group of dummies you've ever seen in your life, the fandom's also really nice. Probably because the fandom name is so stupid that, like,
what is
it all works out. The Mon Babies.
Oh, yeah.
Not a good game, guys. Not a good game. I like the sexy French twist you were going for, but it makes me feel like a dirty old woman, so I can't even, like, call myself it, even though I'm not that much older than most of the people in Monsta X. But then again, that's a problem with being, you know, over 28 in the K-pop world. You're like a crypt keeper, according to... Man.
You dirty old woman.
Yeah, you dirty old woman who's trying to molest children. And I'm like, okay, calm down. They're all in their 20s. Also, I'm married, not interested in actually molesting them, just jokingly fake molesting them. Let's calm down. Different. But yeah, specifically Shonu. I'm there for Shonu. We all know it. Shonu and Tenwan. Those are that's why I stick with it.
I'd say my main fandom's where I talked about the Astro thing, but the Rose, so Black Rose. I'm totally blanking on somebody right now. Oh, I'm an Alice for Victon. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. because I don't have a lot of mutuals and stuff that are that, but they're not known enough, but they're pretty darn cool. So they're really safe little cute fandom. It's easy to be a part of them. ACMU, but I've never understood they say aunts and uncles is the name of that fandom, and I've never seen it anywhere else.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea.
I've never actually heard what the
international fan account on Twitter is called like ACMU Playland or something, which, kind of, so I sort of assumed it had something to do with that, but like, yeah, it's clearly not something like nobody really uses.
Everyone's like, I like ACMU. Pretty much everybody likes ACMU though, just because.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I've ever actually met like an ACMU auntie.
Doesn't even exist.
I feel
what is there to hate? Like,
there really isn't anything.
The worst thing you hear is like, I don't like the way he looks. Like, he's not that hot. And you're like, okay, but I don't really care. So.
Yeah, but what about the music? I can't argue with that.
He writes songs, so.
And he's a great performer, so who cares if you don't like his face? I don't like your face. Get out of here.
My youngest sister got into dramas before me and kept, bugging me to get into them. Was never into K-pop, not at all, right? And she would be like, no, it's just not my thing. I'm not. And then one day I got like a text from her and she's like, well, do you know if like ACMU's label has anything else that sounds like them? And I was like,
no, friendly.
Oh, you're
You're in for a rude awakening, my friend. No.
No, sweetie, no. But they have lots of other lovely groups on YG's label, but nothing like ACMU.
They're kind of their own thing.
Yeah.
They kind of are.
I'm really bad because I don't actually like follow any fandom accounts or anything like that. I just listen to the music and then like follow official accounts. So I never like delved into it. But also I just kind of started Twitter talking about like Korean stuff. So that also might be why.
Sometimes I feel like it's kind of a hard thing to do. Like when I started Twitter and started my Astro account, it was kind of easy just because the accounts I followed were all linked together. But if you're just following official accounts for various groups, and then it doesn't really suggest the right stuff for you to go find.
Yeah.
And so I think it's hard.
The NCT, their official, or maybe it's the official international account on Twitter or whatever, and they're constantly like linking other accounts. Oh, this like fan account started for this guy, and there's this like fan cam website. You should go check this one out. And they're just constantly updating, tweeting about other Twitter accounts that you should be following if you're into NCT. And what can you find? And here's some good stuff. And here's the quality content. And like they're just all over the place helpful.
So we're going to play our game now?
I think so.
So the game is that we are going to figure out the Big Bang song that represents each member of our little podcast. So we'll have little conversations about it, maybe debate over it. We'll have to see. But the person who is being talked about, doesn't get to listen this entire time. So they will be popping out their earbuds. They have to sit out, lips. Kind of. Yeah, they have to wait until they're signaled to come back into the podcast. And then they'll be told what their assignment is for their...
What their assignment
this is what your song is.
To accept it.
Like, you have no choice. You must... This is you now.
Tough cookie.
This is your theme song.
I volunteered to go first because I'm brave like that, I guess.
Right, so who wants to go first?
Okay, I basically picked anything that had baby in the title because she's pregnant.
That's great.
But I also had sober because
I did too. What was your reason?
Because she doesn't do anything.
I have literally written down sober because it's so peppy and she doesn't drink.
That's a good one. I had picked Lollipop too because she's very cheerful. Even when Sky is down, she's kind of very cheerful, and she's kind of a lively member of the group.
These are all good. These are all good choices.
but I kind of love sober now that you said it.
What were you listening to?
Big Bang, what do you think?
Fair enough.
What
right,
song?
Well, I started off on Lollipop for a second, but then I chose Sober. Which is my guess for what you guys picked. But I want to know your reasoning. By the way, it's really hard to kind of halfway pay attention to the video. And then every time I looked over, you guys were cackling. I was like, what on earth are they saying?
The fact that we all had similar thoughts.
Hit me with it.
The consensus was actually sober.
Why?
Because you don't drink.
I'm glad that's one aspect of my personality that is oh so important.
Especially as when you're trying to find a Big Bang song for you.
That's true. I mean, it kind of does stick out.
But I also mentioned Lollipop too.
Yes.
So why was Lollipop mentioned?
Because it's like upbeat and fun. You're upbeat and fun even when it's like a bad day.
Yeah, those were actually my two guesses for what you guys were gonna say. So
I have literally no idea what y'all are gonna say about that.
I don't either. No clue.
I have nothing in my back pocket, so it'll be interesting.
Okay, well I'm gonna mute myself.
So I'm trying to think, what do I have?
I was really bad with these. Like, I picked Sober just because she said she liked Sober, so that was like what popped into my head. But I don't know.
For Nat, honestly, neither one of them are actually Big Bang songs. They're solo stuff. But I had Eyes, Nose, Lips, just because she does her when she does her filters on her layers, and she has like the nips and lips. And so just seeing that title on the list, I was like, and the other one that I had along the same vein was Crayon, because she's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, good crazy, but like she gets her crayon.
So which one do you vote for, Jesse, or do you have a different idea?
Because I was trying to think, if we could pick two, I think it would be funny to do like Good Boy and Sorry I'm a Bad Boy, like kind of like
together,
combined, just because she has dual personalities that way, but she's also always like, but I'm good, guys.
Look at the faces she's making.
Kind of love the Eyes Lip with the Photoshop layers. I think that's hilarious because it's also great just why we picked it.
Well, we can tell her all of it.
That's true. But what do you pick?
I
think the art layers thing is pretty good. But I think that mentioning the good boy, bad boy thing is pretty funny. Come hither, Natalia.
She got so excited. She was like, oh, it's me.
Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself. There you go.
Really lonely when you're sitting there.
It really does. It's like
silent, just watching nothing.
You were pouting. You were seriously pouting.
I felt lonely. I wanted to be a part of the fun.
Amanda gets to tell you which one we picked because it was her idea to begin with.
It's a good one.
All right. So not technically a Big Bang song. It's a solo work. But we went with Eyes, Nose, Lips because it made us sing layers.
Your art layer labels.
Good one. Also, great song. I'll take it. But now I'm going to have to listen.
Secondarily.
Jesse also had a really good idea that
if you could pick two songs, I would pick Good Boy and the Sorry I'm a Bad Boy, like just because it combines, it becomes Natalia.
Like
so
that, the song "Good Boy" really describes me as a person, because as you're saying, I'm a good boy. We all know what you mean. You're not, in fact, a good boy. I like it. Friendships were saved today.
We don't have to disband. Yes.
Exactly.
All right. I guess it's my turn.
Bye.
Time to be lonely.
I went with a little bit of a joke.
Imagine that.
I went with Let's Not Fall in Love because that's what I have to tell myself every time we talk.
That's what I did too.
what you have to tell yourself every time we...
Because
What?
I can tell myself not to fall in love with her every time we talk.
That's
Good
pretty
choice.
good.
Great song, though. Great song.
Also, I mean, on a side note, she's the only one who's single.
True.
But that's not how you think it.
But that's not the reason.
Yeah,
but
we all put a ring on it, but she brings that nice single flavor to her.
Hmm.
Were I unwed? What did you say, Sky?
I didn't write one down. I think that's a good one.
right.
Okay.
I go with the first reasoning though.
Yeah.
Second.
Yes, my reasoning was more accurate.
Come hither, Jesse. We're gonna have to do more games like this. It's funny.
We had a
We came
unanimous
back.
ruling.
Oh no. I'm scared now.
No, don't be scared.
Don't be scared. We all chose let's not fall in love. Because that's what we have to tell ourselves every time we talk to you.
We love you so much, Jesse.
Yeah.
we just grossed her out.
I'm dead.
All right. So I'm popping out.
Okay, go on, Sky. Go.
Well, all I was gonna say is I just know that Zutter's her favorite. That's why I couldn't think of anything else.
I did go with something else.
I went with something else too.
What did you go with?
I went with Doom Dada on the same side because Top's eyebrows are really great in that music video. And Amanda has a very love affair with his eyebrows. So
I think I remembered the wrong song in the first place. I think Doom Dada is probably anyway.
She did
I would think
request the Doom Dada design. That was a request.
Yeah, Judder is the one with GD. It's the
Yeah.
G pop
I
one.
think I got my titles confused when I was writing it down. I was thinking Doom Dada and I wrote down Zutter.
That's okay.
It happens to the
It's
best.
still a song, a big person song.
They're related.
Choices.
Is that what you picked, Natalia?
I picked Doom Dada.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's yeah. Okay.
My only comment on it was for obvious reasons. My list.
I also it doesn't actually fit with the music video, but you know how there's the one part where he's holding the little kid with the big head version. I was like, well, she's a mom.
Amanda's making faces like she's going to murder us all, by the way.
Yeah, that's a horrible thing. None of her children are deformed monsters.
I didn't think of it that way. Come on.
I've seen pictures. They're all cute. Okay, I think we can get her back.
Hither, Amanda.
Oh gosh.
All right. That is really weird watching you guys.
Yeah.
You
Right?
can't hear it. You all start cracking up at the same time.
What are you talking about?
We had another unanimous ruling. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And it was
Hit me.
Doom Dada
Ta-da.
Pop.
Woo!
Yeah.
Reasons. 1, you love it. 2, eyebrows.
Eyebrows are really great in it.
And the third reason, the one that we all horrifiedly cracked up with, you'll have to listen to the podcast to find out what it was because I'm not reading it.
No, I'm gonna have mercy on her. That's not nice. In the music video, there's something that reminded Jesse of the fact that you have kiddos.
The big-headed little.
Maybe that might have been the
For me.
Deformed baby.
Oh my god.
Just for the listeners to know, my babies are adorable. They are not deformed.
I
Just
said, don't worry.
Adorable.
I said that. Don't worry. You're totally
Never
normal.
crossed my mind.
Oh, that was good.
perfect.
Time.
Love it.
And we are still a podcast group.
Yay.
We survived it. So now we get to talk about Big Bang more.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Big Bang is a group composed of 5 amazing members, all of whom have their own special thing to bring to the table, really. But I feel like in every band, we all have our own personal choices for who is our favorite and why. So let's talk about that. Amanda.
Shall we? That would be T.O.P. or Top, as you more easily say. But I love him. I just love him. I love everything about him. I love his voice. Honestly, his voice. I love his voice. Like, just prepping for this today, I'm listening to all these songs, and I'm like, doing other stuff while I'm listening on Spotify, just it's running through Big Bang, and there'll be a new song that I haven't heard before, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then his voice hits, and I'm like, yep, there it is. I like this song. Like, I remember when Flower Road came out, I was like, it's all right. And then, like, like the melody starts, and and I'm like, okay, we'll see. And then he's like, yeah, or something. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy that. I just love it.
Yeah.
I do like rappers. I like rap, and I like rappers, and he is pretty incredible. Like, I love fast rap, and he is like the fastest. Like, he's just fantastic, and I enjoy his personality too. Like, he's such a goofy person, and and his love of art, and I love art, and I love the way he talks about art. Like, I get it when he's talking about, that interview he did where he's talking about chairs, and he's just like, and they're just like, whoosh, and like doing the little lines, and he's like, and there's something beautiful about that. And I'm like, I totally get it. I'm like, yes, I love beautiful lines. I love beautiful art. I love art that's functional. I love that concept of making something functional and beautiful. I love that. He's just my favorite. I just love him.
Was he pretty much immediately your favorite?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when I very, very, very first discovered them, I sort of assumed that, like, G-Dragon was going to be my bias, that, he's just a big, famous person, and he's also a good rapper, and, and it didn't take me long at all before I realized, like, no, it's totally Top. And I would say he's my ultimate bias. Like, he's
your number one.
He's my number one.
Go ahead and tell us what you would like to do with your ultimate bias, Amanda.
I
don't mean that in a creepy way.
This is a loaded question.
Now, if it was coming from Natalia, it would maybe be halfway creepy.
Hey.
I said halfway.
We've talked about this before one time. Just that, like, my sort of daydream or ultimate bias daydream would be to be, like, at a modern art museum with him, just walking around and hearing what he thinks about it, and just looking at the art together and chatting about it. I think that would be a super fantastic thing. And like, maybe have a glass of wine afterwards, because like he does love the wine, and I also like the wine, and he has like fancy expensive wines. So art and wine, it sounds like a good day.
That sounds like a good time.
So what about you, Jessie? Who's your bias?
Well, now it's boring because my bias is also Top or T.O.P.
It's not boring.
Do that.
Well, yeah. No, I think he's an incredible artist, and I think he's incredibly talented. He's got a really great voice, and I think even his singing voice is very good, and he doesn't very shy about singing, and I wish he would sing more because he actually does have a really good voice. I just think he's like incredible talent lyricist. There's a video of him doing the rap. If you actually haven't seen Doom Dada's or heard the music or seen the music video, you should, because there's a great rap that he does, and like towards the end of it, and there's a video of him doing it live in concert, and he's faster than the recording that they have for him, and it's like insane, and like him on stage is incredible to see too. And I also just really love him as his personality. His 4D personality is really great. He's so much fun. If you've ever seen any of the behind the scenes stuff with him, he's just hilarious. Like, he's just he'll be singing at the top of his lungs one part and then dancing, and he seems like a lot of fun. And I also enjoy wine a lot. And so, I mean, we share that. I mean, I don't buy $30,000 bottles of wine like he does, but I could hang out with him and drink a glass of that.
You would not be against it.
No, not at all.
I'd be okay with this $30,000 bottle of wine. No big.
But I also really do enjoy his love of art, especially like chairs, just because I like my day-to-day life. I work in props, but I'm like solely the soft goods person. So most of my projects are like recovering furniture and that sort of thing. And like we do period shows. And so I've always been interested in period furniture and design. And so we do share that too. And I just like love that he has such a passion for it, because I've also talked about this. I really love listening to people talk about what they love. That's like one of my favorite things. And it could be something that I'm not personally interested in. I love hearing him talk about art, even if I'm not like super interested in what's going on. I just think he's a really cool guy, and we could hang out, and I think we'd be friends.
Was he your immediate bias too?
Yes, he was my immediate bias.
Now, I choose my biases in a slightly different manner. And I know what everyone who maybe has followed my Twitter is going to think, and you're wrong. It's not due to anything sexual. I choose who I think would make the best husband out of the group, or like the best life partner if it's, a girl group or whatever. Gender's the construct. So my choice is Daesung. He just seems like a really sweet, funny guy that you could have a lot of fun with, and he's not like too good. He's not that good looking. I'm gonna be honest. He's not that good looking. Like, but that's a good thing, because then you don't feel like you have to really try as hard as if you were like.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm saying in comparison to every other member of Big Bang, he's the ugly one. And it doesn't mean he's actually ugly. It just means he's just not the prettiest one. He's the most approachable looking. Like, it says something where his stylist was like, you know what'll get the ladies going? Hiding most of your face with your hair. To make, but he just seems like he'd be like a really great guy,
He does.
He really does.
He just seems like a good dude. I just like him. I think he's fun, and he's always so fun on like variety shows and stuff. I just like him. That's all.
What was it? His trot song that won you over? Do you know his trot song?
No.
The one where he has his like the thumbs.
You know what actually won me over? The Secret Garden parody where he's the mother-in-law. Thank you. That's
because he got so into it. Like, I mean, he sold that part.
He did.
That's that.
Oh, since I'm kind of late to the Big Bang game as far as trying to find a bias. I've never. I mean, Top is always like, ooh, he's pretty. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, if you watch Fantastic Baby and you don't notice Top, you have a problem. Like,
that's true.
Dude is noticeable. Like, very.
He is. Yeah.
And secondarily, G-Dragon, because like again, noticeable. But as far as deep diving into their stuff, I really didn't do that until we were prepping for this podcast. So it's been interesting. Like, I added a lot of songs to my collection through checking it out, but I really don't know who my bias. I'm a really slow bias picker. I guess because I don't want to keep changing a bazillion times, and because I really haven't figured out what makes me pick my bias necessarily. It just kind of happens a bit. So I don't even really have a pattern with that either, other than the theory that often either you share an interest or your bias is often your ideal self or someone that you would want to hang out with or something like that. And I guess I didn't really know Big Bang that well. That's why I wasn't super secure and like, oh, hey, this is my bias. So that's why I really haven't picked one necessarily.
That's cool.
We don't judge. We don't.
No. I think what's interesting to me of the biases we did pick, I mean, only 2 of them, but what I'm thinking of is there was that video that you linked, the one where they were like dancing and singing with like baby Big Bang.
Yeah.
There's like the little minis. And I just, in that video, that Daesung and Top are so focused on the kids in that video. Like, the rest of them are sort of like, yep, the kids are here and they're cute, but we're kind of performing and doing our thing. But like, Top and Daesung like almost never take their eyes off the kids. They're like paying attention. They're watching what's going on with the kids the whole time. And you know, the mom in me likes that focus, likes that seeing that in somebody. So when I watch that, that's what I notice in that. I mean, the little baby Big Bangs are adorable. But their hair, everything is so cute.
The mini Top is really cute with his hair. It's funny.
It's just adorable.
I mean, if I had to pick a bias, I mean, I knew probably G-Dragon or Top, but these days I'm probably kind of gravitating a little bit more towards G-Dragon. I think the fact that he's actually a really shy guy just fascinates me because the dude is so famous. It always intrigues me when a really shy person has a crazy, not shy stage presence. Like, that in and of itself is really interesting. But then when you know, like, as far as their personality, why did they choose to be famous in the first place? Like, that's just always really interesting to me.
So what was your, like, first Big Bang song? Like, what introduced you to them? Like, for me, getting into K-pop when I did, probably my very first Big Bang stuff was the, we're going to call it Fix It, the Last Dance era. So those were my first intros into Big Bang, and there's still a couple of my favorite songs, but yeah, that would be my start.
Mine was definitely Fantastic Baby and Alive. Those were my big the Alive era stuff. It was because I hadn't actually listened to Big Bang yet. This was like, you know, before I was like really deep into K-pop. I was a K-pop fledgling, as it were. And then I just sort of randomly stumbled onto the Fantastic Baby music video, and it was G-Dragon sitting in that dystopian throne with the hair and
the hair.
I was like, okay, what? First off, hello. Second off, hello. And then I was like, this beat's actually quite a bop. So, which can be said for a lot of the songs. Like, the visuals kind of pull you in, and then you're like, yeah, that's a bop. That's like Big Bang in a nutshell.
Yeah, it was probably around Fantastic Baby when I first heard them. But I feel like the first song I ever heard from them, even though I don't think I heard it like when it was brand new, was Haru Haru. Like, I think that one was the first introduction. It's just been so long that I don't know, because it all melds together, because then you feel like you listen to it and then you're like, well, I have to watch every video ever that they've ever done. And it's like, now I'm like, I don't know, it's just been so long. And like, I did that before watching K-dramas, so I don't even have that like timeline to help me out. But I think Fantastic Baby was probably what really solidified me being like, this is the group that I'm going to really like.
Yeah, when I started just going onto YouTube and looking up K-pop, pretty much the first thing or two that came up was Bang 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 and Fantastic Baby. So, and I don't even remember which was first. I'm pretty sure I watched one right after the other.
Sure.
And I had no idea what I was looking at, pretty much. Since I didn't have any K-pop background, I was like, wow, if this is K-pop, that's pretty crazy. But the songs were really cool. Yeah, so, and actually, I think I immediately bought the songs, but I was like, those music videos are weird. And then I went and looked at other stuff, and that was a little bit more normal. And then, but that ended up on my gym rotation pretty much immediately. Like, I think I listened to those songs a lot at the gym. Are there any favorite variety show appearances that we've ran across?
Okay, so the Happy Together Big Bang episode, which I just rewatched today, just pure perfection.
All-time
but I have
favorite.
to say, my favorite would probably be the Running Man episode where Jungkook gets naked inadvertently.
Yes.
What?
It's like the princess one.
They're playing
Like,
like
Jiho's the
water
princess?
basketball, and then like I think it's Jae-suk like steals his pants,
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I remember that.
So that he can't like get up and play. So that
he literally has to sit in the water.
He has to like stay in the water, and they like hang his pants like over the boom mic, and then he's like, "I will get my revenge." But that's a good one.
Is that also the one with the game with the like the spinning gears or something, and they have to like run across them, and they're all like losing them.
Stick their heads in the saran wrap. Yeah.
Yeah, and like push through like they're.
Yeah, I've watched clips of that one, and it only has 3 of the guys in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like their reactions on that one.
But see, this was another drama fever orphan situation, because that was one of the older episodes that Geeky and Kakwa no longer Kakwa. I don't know. I know that's not how it's pronounced, but that's my personal fave.
I think that's probably my favorite too. Although, one of the ones that stands out in my head, and I can't remember the name of the show right now. Is it? It's the one where on the big white sound stage, and they do all the
Weekly Idol.
Oh, that's a good one too.
The one before they went into the military, yeah.
Yes.
Where they go into the military, and I love the one where they have to do the choreo, like they play the song and you have to do the choreo, and just that picture of G-Dragon just like, what the heck? Like, is this even our song? And you're like,
and then Pop is doing like drunk dancing, like with his like spindly little legs and the tight pants, and it's just pure chaos. Everything about that episode. Actually, it's 2 episodes, because it's like they did like a
part 1,
They did a big bang episode.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What I love about any of the variety show appearances, like when Big Bang shows up, pretty much all the hosts are always like, "Ooh, Big Bang!" Like, they're pretty much starstruck the entire time, no matter how long they spend with the guys. The whole time they're like, "Yeah, we're hanging out with Big Bang."
The other ones I always love are when G-Dragon would go do the song festival, or just anytime G-Dragon got conned into going onto Infinite Challenge was a delight. And I say conned because they literally conned him several times. Like, they got him to film a movie when he thought he was just coming to be a guest.
Because it's what's his face from Where Stars Land.
Yeah, he was in it too. It was
Anyway.
And but the song festival where him and Taeyang and Kwangyi put on probably the most epic show you've ever seen as an opening act at this music festival is unreal.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, Scott, I will send it to you. Link. It is so good. Yeah, and then he did one with whatever, the guy who's also used to do Weekly Idol, now does Idol Room. I forget what his name is. They put on a very strange, with Defcon as a hip hop pigeon. He literally shows up in like a pigeon. I can't even explain it, guys. It's so good. It's so good. We will link those.
Oh yeah, totally. There's another one that I really like, and it only has G-Dragon, Top, and Daesung in it. And I can't remember what it's called. It's the one where they have all the like the comedians and their entertainers like split. They're on a stage and they're like split on either side. And Daesung was one of the people on the show, and so he had to interview Top and G-Dragon, but he was really scared about doing it. And I can't think of anybody's name right now. The guy who is in the Happy Together, he's the second.
G-Park.
Yeah, he is in it, and he's like trying to get Daesung to ask them questions. And it's the one where Top does the story about how Seungri kept on just calling him Top.
And not know his name.
Not Young. And it was just like Top. It's hilarious.
I think if you're talking about like reality variety show type stuff with them, you can't leave out the like Return of Superdad stuff with Tableau.
Yes.
And oh my god, and she loves G-Dragon, like loves him
so much.
So much, and
it's adorable. Oh my gosh, it's so adorable because like you'll see her and like she'll go and meet every other like member and they're like, you know, they say hi and she says hi back, and then when it becomes like finally it's G-Drag and she's just like and she can't talk. She like got his shoulders. And he only sings his parts too. Like she'll like watch the concert and that's like the only part that she'll like sing to, and it's adorable.
I haven't watched a lot of variety shows in general, but I've probably watched all of the like Return of Superman, Big Bang, Haru stuff because it's so good. Like it's just so perfect.
So
I caught up with some the other Running Man episodes. Big Bang had 2 back-to-back episodes with them. And they went head to head with all the Running Man people.
Yeah, and they ended up in the cars doing the race in like the Jeeps or whatever. Did you not?
That was at the very, very beginning.
Oh gosh.
The very beginning, just the Running Man cast showed up in Jeeps. And then they're just standing there and they're like, hey, your guests are showing up. And then all of a sudden a helicopter comes down. And Big Bang pops out and they're like all looking way cooler than they look. And they're all like, oh, we don't look that great anymore in our black leather jackets.
No, but I think it was Big Bang. There was an episode where they ended up doing a race in Jeeps where they had to like drive and then get out and do like
Yeah.
and stuff.
There's something.
I think it's the same episode where Jungkook was taken. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it might be that one.
He's the one driving, so I think it's a classic. It's a classic.
The one with all of them, they do the like hide and seek tag, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
They first are in the museum for the first round, and Big Bang loses, and they are not happy. So then they go to this huge 12-story office building for the second episode, and Big Bang is out for blood that time. And G-Dragon is after Haha, because Haha kind of gave him a hard time the first episode. So they whittle everybody down, and Haha's the last one, and G-Dragon has made it clear, you save him for me. I am going to rip his name tag off. Like, it's just so funny how serious they all are about it. Oh, and then they had a superpower of, they got these magic rings that they kind of acted like superheroes with or whatever. They
I love
had to
the
do a
part
chant.
when they like did the chant, and then you can tell they're like, we hate this so much.
They're all so embarrassed. And like, some of the guys kind of get into it, and Top is always the last one to say his name, and he's always like, Top. Like, he barely says his name. And then even all the Running Man people, when they see them doing the summoning thing with the rings, like, they're cringing and they're embarrassed for it. And then you can't not talk about the parodies. I think that was for another variety show, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't know how it came to be.
I don't know actually.
K-pop groups just used to do parody stuff. Like that used to be a thing that they just did. There was it Cheryl from Drama Candy just like posted that one from like 2 p.m. and 1 a.m. Yeah, like, and they were like singing about being dirty, sexy babies.
I think that
Abracadabra parody.
I think that was like SNL, like SNL Korea. There's sometimes some really good ones.
Chinese done parodies, like Double S 501 did parodies. Everybody did parodies in that like group
era.
It was just a thing to do.
Well, I know for the Secret Garden parody for Big Bang, when you watch it, it shows them also sitting on the stage, and so you're seeing their reaction.
They have to actually react it and
so I guess that's why I thought it was like a show, you know.
I think it was like early, like pre-version V Live was these parodies.
Well, and I think too, when you're new, right, like with the K-pop groups, when they're new and they don't have a lot of songs yet that are really famous and stuff, you still have to fill your whole concert, right? So, or your whole meet and greet, or your whatever you're doing. So you have they would have some of those sorts of things.
So I guess, they played some of these at the concerts, these parodies?
I think so, because they always do like videos too. A lot of the groups will do videos that they just, I guess when they're like setting up or costume change or whatever, they'll have the video that's like pre-recorded, and I think a lot of the times they fill in time.
If you watch like this is another drama fever orphan. They had the Maid concert, like Big Bang's Maid in New York, and they had there was like a whole. They basically made like a whole movie that they would like play chunks out of while like sets were moving around and whatever. It was a really good show.
I'm glad it was a good show that I can't watch.
We'll
Well,
see if
you
we
never
can...
know. Vicky might get it, or Kakawa might, because Kakawa's been picking up a lot of music stuff.
They have.
I don't know who has it.
But the parodies, so the ones I saw were Boys Over Flowers, which I haven't seen that drama yet, so that was pretty funny.
Soon.
It's good.
Yes.
And then Beethoven Virus or whatever. I don't even know. Has anyone watched that original drama at all?
I haven't watched the original drama, no.
For which one? Sorry.
Beethoven's Virus or whatever.
It's on my list.
Based on the parody, I'm not sure it's worth your time, but hey, the parody was funny. And then, of course, the Secret Garden one, which, when you watch the behind the scenes, it's obvious they shot way more scenes for than we got to see. So that's kind of sad. You don't get to see everything they worked on.
I think I only made it through maybe the first third or something of the Secret Garden one. I don't do well with like secondhand embarrassment and stuff, and I struggled. I was like, this is so funny, and yet I cannot watch it. Like I feel like I'm watching it through like my fingers, like, poor baby is like, what is this?
The only part that I didn't have secondhand embarrassment from was the Daesung part, because he was so unashamedly into it that it was just like, okay, you're just having a grand old time, aren't you?
His costume for that was so good, though.
So good.
The wig and stuff.
So accurate. And like like other groups have sort of parodied it again, like parodied the parody, like on Monster X-Ray, they had IM pretty much dressed up in the exact same outfit, except that he was wearing a skirt but was sitting with his like legs spread, so they just had like a big blur over the crotch. He was like, no. It was so good. It's fun further parodies from its parody.
Well, like you'll see people like will post things like about who's the worst mom in K-dramas, and they'll have the list, and like the write-in answers will always be like Daesung. This is this is a sham.
Where's Daesung?
You're not including the worst K-drama mother of all time.
I also like the way they did Sungri's hair to look exactly like the Asuka character, and how it was like all curly and wavy to the side, and he was like, this is awesome. And then I think I saw that Top was saying like it was the exact outfit from the show, like the whole sparkly tracksuit thing that he was wearing. So he's like, I'm wearing the real thing.
So along with variety shows, we've also got some business people and other careers that they get up to. Big Bang's a multi-talented group. So Top just curates $1 million art shows with Sotheby's.
Yep.
He's not.
And I think he got some kind of like, I don't know, award or title or something from the government because of his like increasing knowledge of the arts with young people in Korea and stuff, like bringing arts back to a relevancy that it didn't have with the younger generation. So he was like acknowledged for that, which is kind of cool. And I mean, while he's in the army, that's what he's doing now, is, working in some museum, apparently, to like kids programming and stuff. Basically, all the like the VIPs that I do sort of hang out with or chat with ever, like basically the big thing is like he's never coming back. Like they put him in a museum. He's never going to come back. We're never going to see him again. He's going to marry some like pretty little like docent who gives tours and
that's what happens. That's what happens.
He's just gonna do his thing, live in the museum, hang out with his little happy family, and he's done.
Make kids programs forever.
But that's what goes down. That's what goes down.
Exactly. I will be very happy for him if he's happy and doing his thing. So I will miss his music, but I will be.
Did he also do his own, like, not just curating, but didn't he do some of his own art exhibits too?
I think, but they weren't like his art. I don't think it was like, again, some curated type stuff of his. He has so much art in his home, and yeah,
he's also gotten the other members really into art as well.
Yeah.
And did they do an exhibit? Like, wasn't there a Big Bang like exhibition
there
at
was
some point?
sort of exhibition right before they all went.
Yeah, but I think that was at least in part put on by a third party or something, like sponsored by like a fan group or something. I'm not entirely sure how that worked, but because I remember there being some kind of controversy about it. I think that Top's picture was not in the group. And
it wasn't.
Right? Like because it was when he was going through the court case and the scandal and everything. And they left him off, and people were furious. They're like, listen, it's a Big Bang exhibit. You can say whatever else you want, but he's a member of Big Bang, and you can't really do a Big Bang exhibit with no Top.
That was pretty rude.
Yeah. So what are the other guys up to? Sungri's big businessman, right?
Oh yeah, he owns he owns a whole ramen chain of like ramen restaurants.
They have like 12, 14, like, and I think it's like outside of Korea too. I think there's
some
maybe
in
like
Japan or China.
Japan and Thailand or something.
And he's got he manages or something, like he has like a DJ company or
he owns a
club. He owns a club.
Yeah. And he DJs.
And he I remember from one of the variety shows or something they were talking about he has like not patents, but like he's filed to have the rights to manage all these like foreign international stars and stuff. So like I can't remember who it is, but like
it's the soccer player.
Soccer star that like if he ever comes in Korea, I don't think he's ever met Sungri, but like Sungri's his manager if he ever comes to Korea.
Cristiano
Ronaldo,
yeah.
So, and apparently he does a bunch of these sorts of things. Like he sees that business idea. And
if you talking about another variety show, he's on an episode of I Live Alone. Or Home Alone, Rainbow Bridge. It's like a million different names.
Yeah.
But in it, he talks about it because he knows a bunch of different languages, and he did it because he felt that he was the lowest on the chain in Big Bang in terms of like talent and what he could do. So he's like, if I can't win them in the like music industry, I'm gonna win like in the business side of things, and that's what he originally did all that stuff for.
And he's like, what was it he was saying? Like, he's like, I'm not the best looking or the most talented in the group, but then when I'm the one talking, everyone's like, oh, who's this guy? I'm the only one who can speak all these languages.
To like, he's sort of the MC of their shows. Like whenever you watch the shows, he's the one who's introducing stuff and doing, because he speaks all these different languages, so he can do the English and the Japanese and the clearly helpful because they are such a big group internationally as well as in Korea.
And I can't keep track of all the stuff G-Dragon does in the fashion world and all that.
Fashion line that Peace Minus One. And I mean, and he's a hugely prolific songwriter. Like so many songs. He
produces a lot too.
The rights, but like he's got songwriting credits all over the map, everywhere, on everything, and quite wealthy.
He does solo stuff too, and stuff with Top.
I mean, they all do have their solo stuff. And then I always find it a little weird that they have their real names, they have their stage names, and then they have their Japanese stage names, and you're like, what?
That's a like common theme for people who do solo, like just solo work in Japan, and I think it might be because of being, when they're in Japan, they're under technically a different label. Like, they're not YG, they're like under their Japanese label. And I think the change of the name, it has to be done legally. It's some sort of weird thing, because I know a lot of other people who are like other Korean singers who go for solo. It doesn't really happen with like groups, but solo artists. Also, I think if they change their style of music too, because Daesung, what I love about his stuff, his Delight stuff, is it's like, obviously he wants to be a trot singer, and Japan was like, hey, sure, come here.
Yes,
and
please.
He's so popular in Japan. It's insane how popular he is.
He's more popular in Japan than he is in
Korea.
By like a huge margin. And they consider him the sexiest member of Big Bang
because he's dangerous.
That's right, because he's dangerous.
Which is like not. But
no, it's like the opposite of what I think of.
Listen,
yeah, Mr. Sunshine Smile. Yeah, you're so dangerous.
Today when I was listening to like the Big Bang mix that like Spotify was putting through, one of the things I noticed, I guess Seungri's, maybe it's his Japanese stage name, I don't know, it's like VI or something. I don't know, but he's listed as VI in a lot of his solo works, and I was not surprised, I guess, because his solo release this past year I quite enjoyed, but I was just surprised. Like, these songs would come up and I'd be like, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, it's Seungri. Okay. Oh, it's nice. Like, with us doing this, I did delve deeper into their music than I maybe have before, and listened to a lot more like B-sides and stuff solo works and things that I hadn't really listened to before. That I quite like. So
yeah, like I found a couple of Daesung's solo songs that aren't trot, which one of his trot songs is hilarious. I think like Wings is really good. And then I thought Shut Up was pretty fun. Like, I don't know. He almost goes into rock just a little bit. Probably soft rock is what you'd call it. But I mean, he kind of gets there. And I was like, that's pretty fun. I didn't expect that. I kind of expected ballads or whatever, but it was kind of different than I thought. So do the other guys have other businesses and stuff? Like, I haven't heard before.
I think like the only thing I can think of is like solo. Like just solo.
They do solo stuff.
Solo.
Yeah.
And then modeling, stuff like that, like, acting.
Yeah.
Like commercials. They're pretty well off just on their songs alone.
They're not hurting for kashish.
And they've all they have songwriting credit too, so I think that's helping.
And like you mentioned acting, like Top has had a few roles in dramas and films. And I think Seungri had YG, but he's also done a few other things as well.
He's done like a Chinese drama, hasn't he?
I think
I feel like he's done one or two.
I don't think they all do a lot of acting, but
I think Top out of everyone does the most.
He seems to, I think, have a passion for that, more than the others do.
Do we want to talk about, does anybody have a favorite song they want to mention? Not that we have to have favorite songs. I know that favorite really top hard. 50 or whatever.
It's hard to pick one because there's so many different
genres.
Style. They do so much. I love, for ballads, my favorite is probably If You, which I think is technically a GD and Top, but I love that song. Love it. Great. And I love Doom Dada. That's my fave. But again, it's a solo work. It's not a I think for bops, just, sort of general bops, I love Sober and We Like to Party and Ego.
I personally think, this is my own personal, not the opinions of Certified Nuna, but me, that G-Dragon's solo album, Coup d'etat, is one of the best full albums I have ever listened to of any genre.
Oh,
it is. It's really good. It's such a good album. It's solid from beginning to end. It's
nice.
Yeah.
He's really talented in that respect, in producing an entire album and just writing. That's really what G-Dragon is strong at.
My favorite songs for bops were usually Fantastic Baby and Bang Bang Bang, of course.
Of
But
course, right?
I liked duo Good Boy song a lot. I don't know. It's pretty catchy.
It is.
And then
Definitely.
I liked G-Dragon's Crooked.
Mm.
I don't know why I liked that one so much. But then I really liked Sungri's 1, 2, 3. I thought that was
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, the whole album that Sungri just put out is really good. Like, I listened to it and I was like, wow, this was way better than I thought it was going to of who Sungri is as a person. But no, it's really good. If you haven't listened to it, you also listen to it. Give it a chance. It's a good album.
I also really love Shutter, which is GD and Top one, and I really love
video.
The music
video is
for
crazy.
Shutter is so messed up.
It is so nuts.
I mean, it's one thing until they start like peeing all over each other, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
Like ripping intestines out of, and you're just like,
Yeah,
"What?
you're like, what?
It's a weird music video.
It is.
Song is fantastic.
The song is
kind of like the Bebe music video. I'm like, oh my, that's quite something that's going on. But Lollipop, it keeps on popping in my head pretty much every day since I started listening. Anything else, Big Bame, we wish to discuss?
I think we've covered
Run the gamut.
everything. I think we should move on to just general K-pop. What is everyone looking forward to in this coming winter months?
Icon's got a release coming out in the next week, I think. So, I mean, it's mostly a repackage, but I'm sure there will be a new song or two.
Few surprises.
Which I look forward to hearing. That teaser video just dropped for that new Chinese NCT Wavy. And, well, it's like that could be some good stuff. Could be some good.
Show me the V. Show me the V. What was it?
I'm not sure what they're going
V or something. I was like, see the V, huh? Like, that doesn't mean what you think it means. Sure. And it would make more sense if there were 5 members, because then it'd be Roman numeral V, but there's 6. So now they're just messing with us now.
It looks good.
It looks very stylish and very polished, but I can't get how stupid the name is.
Money going into that.
Oh, definitely. So I'm a rebel, and I don't have a lot of K-pop that I'm looking forward to or know about or following really much. But he's not new. Everybody probably already loves him and he's great. But I just discovered Jen Hoshino, who is a Japanese singer-songwriter, really great. He came out with a song Pop Virus towards the middle of December that randomly YouTube decided to play for me, and now I've just been obsessed with him. So that's what I've been really into a lot, is his stuff. But I do know that Luna from FX is coming out with today, maybe, or soon, a song
that's right.
for her comeback. And then also I watched the video for, I don't remember her name. It might be Chunghwa. She was part of one of the reality show idol, big group things. And she was the one who just released the one song with Ye-sung from Super Junior. Just came out with her solo song, and it's actually pretty good. Those are some of the things that I've been kind of looking forward to and looking at.
Is BoA coming out with something, or are they just talking about light sticks for funsies?
She just released the light sticks. She just did some comeback.
Yeah,
she did Woman.
Recently.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of December.
So it was kind of off of that. I see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still sort of recovering from EXO's giving us nothing for a year and then suddenly sliding 2 albums at us in the span of a month. But I'm intrigued by this new group, ATEEZ. Their dystopian steampunk vibe is a good time. I'm terrible. You can get me with any. I'm like, what does the music sound like? Doesn't matter. Give me the visuals. How's this photography? Is it good? What's their concept? So I don't actually know what their concept is. We were discussing this earlier. But visually speaking, they've got some sort of weird Mad Max meets Wild Wild West situation happening.
And you're here for it.
I'm here for that. I'm intrigued.
For me, Astro's coming back the 16th, right the day after ATEEZ comes back. And they just released pictures. I never know what day to call it because it's always whatever day there. And anyway, it's always 3 o'clock in the morning for me.
Just call it whatever day it is for you.
Today, when we're recording this, not when you're listening to this. So that's just recently they released individual pictures, but then they did release 2 group pictures of their concept, which has to do with gardening and greenery. They're going to do 2 album versions, which is a first for them, so that's kind of a good thing. I hope they get some more money out of that, I guess. One of the group pictures is white, the other one's green. That's kind of what they're going with. They did do a release schedule that was pretty cute, so they had all the typical gonna release pictures this day, whatever, all that information. But then hidden amongst the white part, if you looked really hard, they had kind of like a recipe or something that involved like a lot of the fan stuff, like Aroha's Love, or it was pretty darn cute, like heaps of fun, stuff like that. So everyone was kind of fangirling about that. So I'm excited because everyone was scared that they would go super sexy or dark, which I honestly can't ever see them going too far in that direction just because their fan base isn't. I
don't know, man. I saw some videos.
No, I'm not saying that they can't do like solo stuff that way. I just can't imagine here's a whole album that way. Everyone would be like, because I mean, this was the album that everyone was thinking they would probably skip on over to that. Their youngest member just became an adult, so everyone was kind of wondering if that was going to be kind of the final thing. But they always call themselves refreshing, so they still kind of kept with that, looks like. So I'm excited. I'll be waking up super early to watch that whenever it happens.
See, refreshing's a nice word because anything could technically be refreshing. That's just a just a smart marketing move.
Basically, refreshing lets you look at what's the trend, what's really popular right now, and we will do something completely different from that because it will be refreshing because everybody else is dark this season, so we'll be light. Everybody else is whatever. We'll do this.
Recently, Amanda worked hard on making our Spotify year-end playlist.
Yes, she did.
She's very proud of that, so she wants people to go listen to it.
I just keep listening to it all the time because I'm like, oh, this is cool. We have
a mix of it?
I do. It's neat because like we all on Twitter put our like top 10, top 30, whatever like we felt like doing for the year-end of our music, made threads of it, and so I took all the songs. There were a few overlaps, but that's cool. And I put them all into a Spotify playlist on the Certified Nuna's Spotify account. And it's neat, like, just because I'll be listening and like, oh, yeah, I know this. And even a lot of the stuff, even if it wasn't my favorite, I know it, right? Like, you've still heard it. And then there will be something pop up that I'll be like, oh, I no idea what that is, but I really like it. Like Jessie had a lot of she had Japanese stuff in there, which was kind of cool. And there was just a few different things or OSTs from something that maybe I didn't watch or whatever. It's like, oh, that's a cool song. I like it. It's expanding my horizons.
This has been another exciting episode of the Certified Nunas. We can be found wherever you're listening to this, but also in other places such as Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, even YouTube. We're wacky like that. Okay, not only is our podcast on Spotify, you can now follow us on Spotify for music playlists and things. We are on Twitter at Certified Nunas, and there they have all of our individual Twitters. We love to hear from everyone, so feel free to drop us a line. And
Instagram.
Oh yeah, we have an Instagram that I'm in charge of and doing a hilariously poor job, but I promise to become better.
I'm in charge of Facebook, and I'm also bad, but maybe we'll get better this year.
Yeah,
resolutions.
Resolutions is to get better at our tasks. So
Pinterest.
Yeah,
we have Pinterest.
Yes,
have a Pinterest.
We have a Pinterest.
Basically, if there is one, we have it.
Yeah, if just go to your
except for Snapchat, we don't Snapchat.
Yeah, we're old. We don't know.
There's no Certified Nunas Snapchat. If you find one, it's not us.
Yeah, don't be fooled by imitators, not us. So yeah, we love to hear from everyone, and hope you have a great week, and we'll be back soon with more shenanigans.
Bye.
Bye.